A lot of people have attempted to solve this CTF challenge. I think like what, over 2,000 now, and I think like 20 something succeeded. So and I really like this one because it's very realistic. To be honest, this is something that I've seen happening quite a lot. Security by obscurity. We're going to talk about that. And yeah, with that said, Itzik, I'll give you the stage. Why don't you take us through what's going on here? How did people try to attack this, and what's the right solution?
In this case, what happened here, the developer said, okay, nobody's going to guess IDs. I'm auto-generating them. They're random. There's no way to guess them. They're too long. And they're probably right on actually guessing them, even though there are methods to do that. But it can't replace security. And that's what this CTF is all about. Okay? So what happens here is that, yes, we don't know all the IDs. And we need to figure them out. But the main concept is there's always a way to figure out IDs. Not always, but 99% of the time, there's a way to get those IDs some ways, somewhere. In this case, we left another vulnerability here, which is NoSQL injection. In this API, the company, the one that fetches the company, you can see here that the request body company ID is not sanitized. Also is actually using a single value, which means that I can maybe try to nest, conditions here. Nesting conditions with an inner JSON for NoSQL is the best way to do NoSQL injection. And that's what I'm going to try to do, okay? So as, a developer looking at this and trying to hack into it, I would try to nest that condition. So to do that, I would have to use, since this, challenge goes to secret, and I'm not yet ready to reveal Willy Wonka's secret, I would have to start using something else. In this case, I'm going to use Postman to actually post a, a request to the company's API, which I found is vulnerable to SQL injection. And I actually provided to it the this nesting, which I said not equals none. So any company that is company ID that is not null should be fetched. So it's a very simple NoSQL injection. I hit send, and you can see here I already ran it before. See here all the companies in the system. Okay, so that gives me a lot, because instead of trying to guess any ID, I can go and get those IDs right from right here. I can get all the IDs of the companies. I might have more. In this example, only 3 companies. And then step number 2 for me would be, okay, let's use those IDs to go and get the users. So I know where Willy Wonka is and what's Willy Wonka's ID, so I can fetch the secret. So with that API, users in this case, okay, I go and I provide all the company IDs from what I found before, from the NoSQL injection scenario. And I hit send, and I'm getting all the users in the system. And guess what? Here's the company ID, and here's the user ID for Mr. Willy Wonka. With that, if I go back to the code, I have this API that is called secret. Okay, it's actually the route is secret. And then what I can do, I can just provide the user IDs, in this case only one, with I can go and paste here the ID that I need. So let's do it together. Okay, I'm gonna get this ID. Okay, copy it. So here's our flag, and that's the actual ID that I should have taken. Sorry about
Gotcha.
that. But now I got the flag. So the main takeaways here, which I think are important, is the first one is obviously never count on the UUIDs as security. Those are not security. It's just random picked IDs. They can't be served as security. And the best practice here is really important. Implement proper access control, including authentication and authorization. Without that, without the ability to actually know who's actually operating those APIs, you won't be able to protect your code, and you might get access, give people access to non-authorized data. Obviously, the points about NoSQL injections are real. Those are real things. We need to keep on thinking about sanitizing our inputs. And then in terms of tightening the logic of the code, I mean, it's not a solution, but it's always important. We talked about it before as well. Going in and looking at what is our code doing at any, scenario in this case could have prevented us, because we created an API that returns, is supposed to return a single company, and it's not. It actually returns multiple companies because I'm using SQL injection, NoSQL injection, to hack it. So it's really important to create a tight piece of code that doesn't allow any logic that is unintended to go through.